And we're live. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about tonight. Scary stories. And this is October, so I call it Halloween right now. Hi everybody. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to take this right over to Cara because we have a special guest we need to introduce. Hi, Cara. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hi.
Brandi, Sandy, Don. We have a wonderful jam-packed show tonight. We have Brandy's stepdad, Don, is going to be telling us some spooky stories coming from the great state of Missouri, and that is going to be super, super exciting. And the Fact or Fiction tonight is going to be done by Debbie. So we're going to let Debbie do her Fact or Fiction first, but I do want to say I want to let everyone know our book is in the final editing stage and we should be published this week. And it is The Past Lives of Deborah O'Hara, Mysteries at the Columbian Exposition, all about Chicago, the whole book.
And now tell about the cover. Who did the cover?
We have, Don's granddaughter, Rebecca, did this beautiful cover, and we have these beautiful dresses from the 1890s and the hairstyles. And if you look real close in there, that is the original Ferris wheel from the Columbian Exposition, which then was shipped to St. Louis for the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. So Illinois and Missouri shared that Ferris wheel. So
Amazing.
yes, so we are all set, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right in with Debbie doing her Fact or Fiction. Take it away, Debbie.
Do you want to tell everybody what it is and how they need to
Oh,
guess?
sure, sure. I thought you were, but that's okay. I can do it. Our Fact or Fiction we do every week. We have a story that is either going to be a true paranormal story, or it's going to be complete fodder and imagination on our part. The story will be told at the beginning of the show, and you can guess throughout the show whether or not you believe that her story is fact or fiction. And then at the end, she will retell just a short synopsis of the story, and then we will ask you to guess. And we'll take a guess, and we'll see if we can come up and see if it's fact or fiction. So
Yeah.
I'll let you start, Debbie. Go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Kara. And you guys will be you guys. I didn't tell anybody anything about this story, so you'll be able to guess as well. Here we go. There was a woman who didn't have the best marriage, and she recently lost her parents. She had extreme anxiety and ended up having a nervous breakdown. In her home, she had a large but ordinary round mirror on the second floor wall. She walked by the mirror one day only to see another woman's reflection looking back at her. The woman was disheveled and bloody with a gash across her neck. After seeing the woman a few times and not wanting to relapse, she scheduled an emergency appointment with her psychiatrist, and she wanted her husband to attend also. The husband never saw the woman in the mirror, but he was willing to take it down, give it away, or even destroy it. The woman's doctor said not to do that. No, it's only her fears, and she needs to conquer them. Leave the mirror alone. Well, she had him rearrange the mirror to another place so she wouldn't have to walk by it as much. But occasionally she saw the tormented, bloodied woman as she walked by the mirror in the upstairs hallway. Well, one night the phone rang and her husband was on the line and said, "The storm is so terrible. It's going to prevent me from getting home tonight." And she was panicked inside, but she wanted to convince him she was okay. And she said, "I'll just leave all the lights on. I'll be fine. I'll be fine." So she went to the bed and fell asleep. And during the night, she awoke to glass breaking. And she waited, and soon she got up and she ventured out into the hallway where a man just outside her bedroom door grabbed her. And he had a knife in his hand, and she was terrified. And she struggled, and he was dragging her around when suddenly he jerked her around, and they found themselves looking straight into the mirror. In the mirror was the bloody woman with a gash across her neck, wearing the bloody nightgown. And it scared him, and he violently threw his hostage down, lost his balance, and went over the banister. Well, he got up and he ran from the house, and she called the police, and he was apprehended in the neighborhood. Well, life went on for a day, and she got up in the morning, opened up the morning newspaper at breakfast time, and there on the front page was an article that a man was caught that had slit a woman's throat. And she looked at the photo there in the newspaper. Staring back at her was the very woman in the image of the mirror that she saw many times, all bloodied with a gash across her neck. So he murdered her. That's my story. Did she really see the bloodied lady, or was she just had a nervous breakdown, or is this all made up? Okay, Cara.
I am gonna have to ponder this one. That's pretty good. Um, Everyone, think about whether or not you think that her story is fact or fiction. And you can all put it in the comments as we go if you want to, if you figure out what you think your guess is going to be. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Brandi so she can talk about her dad and introduce him so we can have some of his wonderful stories. Uh-oh, did we lose your dad just now?
I'm going to say my dad just kind of went bloop.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully he comes back because I can't tell his stories.
I'll bring him in. He's here.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back.
You just wanted a grand entrance, right, Dad?
That was it. That was it.
All right, everybody. This is my wonderful, loving dad, and he's got a few stories from his interesting. I want to say not childhood because he was in his early 20s, but they are very interesting stories, and I can't wait for him to share them with y'all. So, whenever you're ready, Dad.
Okay. I guess we need to start off with probably Wentworth Military Academy. Worked there a couple of days a week as maintenance, and then I worked security guard / babysitter for the high-end kids over there. Well, you walk around until 6 o'clock in the morning from 9 o'clock at night, and you hear a lot of things going on that you can't explain. So you keep investigating, and you keep learning and finding more details out until you get in with some of the kids, and you find out that there's a lot of black magic going on at Wentworth, and the cadets are playing pretty heavily at night. Ended up there was actually two different, for no better word, clan. They had the black and white witches, and of course, just as always, the old tales. The black witches, of course, are bad. The white witches are good. Of course, they don't call them white. They were called grays. The leader of them was actually the company commander, Burkett, and the leader of the black or dark grays were Tony Spiva. He was from California. Just a little prenup, so you got to get the ideas of what's going on. So you get there. It's semi-light outside. You're walking around doing all your normal checks. You do one walk around the campus every hour, and you go through the field house, which is the gymnasium, and it's huge. It's got a full-size Olympic pool, indoor track, the whole schmear. And you got to check all the rooms, all the doors, and everything. And you sense things, you feel things. There was a lot of things that happened at Wentworth Military Academy over the years. There was a lot of turmoil, a lot of tragicness with black and whites back in the day, because that was going on during the Prohibition days, back during the slave days. There was a lot of deaths, during the war over there, and you could just feel it all. But as these guys are messing around at night and playing their little games, they start messing with me. And, you start seeing shadows, you start seeing figures, you start seeing flashing lights going from one building to the other. And at the time, I wasn't drinking or smoking or anything, so I knew I was straight. And, you go to investigate, and there's nothing there. but you could actually see colors in the clouds going from the the buildings' names were Charlie Company and Alpha Company, which was the two where the main things were happening at. And it was just eerie feeling. Your skin would crawl. You would have things that feel like come up and just grab you, not to harm you, but just to grab you, to scare the crap out of you. And you get these cold, icy feelings as you're walking through different parts of the rooms. This picture right here is the main administration building. If you go in the front doors right there between the main columns and turn to the right, that goes downstairs into the student union. You get down in there, and there's the science and lab and biology and all that rooms. Now, those down there, that was one of the very first buildings that was built. That down there were actually slave living quarters for the commandant. And there was, I guess, several slaves got murdered in that area. So there's a lot of background in Wentworth if you ever want to investigate it and do a lot of research to it. I had 5 years working there, so I had a lot of time to do a lot of reading. So one night, here's the stories. So one night, I'm over here. It's getting to be 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that. I'm coming around from the field house, and it's a pretty night out. It's semi-cool, mid-fall, about like now, and you had these blue and red flashing lights going back and forth from A to B, which was A Company and Charlie Company. And so I go to investigate, and it's Tony Spiva and John Burkett. They're playing their little games again. And I was actually told that night to stay out of a certain building, which I decided I would go ahead and stay out of. There was something happened that night that I really can't talk about this part of it, but there was a semi-tragedy that happened down there. Somebody just almost got killed in this building, and they were the only ones there except for the Wentworth ghost, for no better words. So this was I guess it was November. It was getting close to November. And so this went on for like a quarter of a month. Then all the cadets decide that they got to, go home for Christmas. And so everybody's gone. You're over there all by yourself. And now everything that's happened in the past is still living over there. And you're the only person in this entire campus, which is almost 25 acres. If you put all the buildings together, you got to check, including the football fields. Sorry, I'm getting cold chills. But I'm over there walking around, and Charlie Company, where Spiva was at, I have to go down and check the boiler rooms. And as I go down and check the boiler room, I look out at the football field. Well, there's somebody walking around the football field, and there's nobody supposed to be out there. So I go out and the boiler room door and stand at the top of the football field bleachers and holler down at this person. And it's like, hollered, "Hey, who are you and what are you doing here?" And like I said, now I'm 22 at this time, have no idea what anything but God and devil is. And this person hollers back up, says, "My name's Beelzebub, and I'm here looking for John Spiva." I said, "Sorry." I said, "They're all gone back home. He's in California." Ooh. And I turned around, and he was gone, just disappeared. And, he was like on the 30-yard line. So it wasn't like he could just disappear in a split second, but he did. And so I just, blew it off and went on because, like I said, I had no idea who this was. Then I started talking to some people and found out who Beelzebub was. And then I just about crapped, because then he came back to visit me 4 different times in the next month over there, about the same time of the evenings. And I was in the same place right there in the football field area. And that's when I decided that it was time for me to start learning something, or I was going to get in trouble. So that's when I got hooked up with Mr. John. and he taught me quite a bit about how to see what was going on, know what was going on, and how to defend myself, and even do a few small incantations, which I didn't really choose to play with them. But yeah, that was definitely weird. After I found that Beelzebub was the devil's archangel, that one just really screwed me up for quite a while. And as a matter of fact, it still is, I guess.
It's like
Yeah.
you look like you're getting cold chills and stuff, Dad. It still bugs you.
Yeah, I am.
I have a question. When you saw him like 3 more times, was he asking you the same thing or what?
No, then he was looking for me, wanting to know what I was doing, where I was at, where I was going to be. He was literally uh, pegging me as far as what I was going to be doing in the next few hours, time, months, days, whatever. But yeah, it was definitely unearthing because you could literally be standing there and there's nobody outside the door, and you turn back around and look out the window and they're right there looking at you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, it's bad enough when it's your family, but when it's when it's the devil's archangel, you just don't want to screw with him.
That's terrifying for me because I mean my dad had a lot of encounters with spirits and things when he was alive, but to just I mean for the actual devil,
Yeah,
that terrifies me. They always say that there are portals in different, to different realms and to hell, that a demon can have, in some houses or some things or whatever, but to actually like visualize and speak to and have an encounter like that would have messed me up too. That's terrifying.
yeah,
right.
it really was.
I think the fact that of who he was, but you know, this thing of like stalking you a little bit is like, what does he want you to do, or what's going to go on here? Now that had to be really scary. I would have left. So many people, Don, would have quit. They'd be out of there. I mean, really.
Well, after the initial, oh God, what's happening? I kind of got intrigued about it, and then I started dabbling a little bit, and that's how I, got into some of the mess I did with it. But
Hmm.
it's better off left alone if you don't know exactly what you're doing. I found that out.
Yeah. Well, it's clear now. So many people, we're always, talk to a lot of people, and one of the first things we ask is like, well, did you happen to like to get into something or a Ouija board? Are you doing anything? And then, of course, then they say we did a little thing. You are so lucky to get out of that. You're very, very lucky.
Now, did
Yes.
you mess with the Ouija board when you were dabbling, or was that a taboo that you didn't touch?
No, Ouija board. Actually, we had one of those when we was a kid, and then Mom found out what a Ouija board was, and she destroyed it. But yeah, I played with one
I
since
am
then.
having images of Grandma Franklin
Uh
catching
huh.
you with a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all don't know. Grandma Franklin was very religious. She was very God fearing, God believing, and just seeing her catch Dad with a Ouija board. How did you live, Dad? That's my question.
Damn
Yeah.
balls! She snatched the hair right off.
Your grandma sounds exactly like my great grandmother. My mom, they used to want to play with a deck of playing cards. She was so religious, she believed that playing cards were the devil.
Oh wow.
And they would go and they would sneak out into the woods to play like solitaire, double solitaire, or whatever. And she busted them. But they also, my mom and a couple of her friends also got busted playing with the Ouija board, and they had a really bad experience. My mom, to this day, she's 81, almost 81 years old. She will not mention what happened with that Ouija board. But when she found out I brought one in the house. And remember, I had one, Sandra, my mom flipped
Yeah.
her lid.
You, me, and Gina, and
Yeah.
seances and Ouija boards. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you guys had to take you had to take the Ouija board because my mom flew a gasket when she saw that I brought one in the house.
Oh, those things still scare the heck out of me. So
I am still picturing Grandma Franklin catching my dad.
right.
I can just imagine a book, a switch, or whatever. She was chasing him.
Oh,
I could just see it.
God.
They're
Well,
very,
that-
dangerous portals. They really are.
they
And
can be.
yeah, I used one with a witch one night, and we did contact someone that had passed, and all the answers were, came. But she actually went into like a trance, and I was looking at her, and her eyes went bright red.
Oh,
They
goodness.
were like lit up red. And she couldn't, she wasn't responding to us. She's just saying what she had to say. And so that was the end of my Ouija board time for sure.
Yeah. Now, Don, you had another juicy one for us, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, this one involves a pair of old spinstress maids up here in Ray County, out by I guess it's just the other side of Dockery out here. It's the Humbird sisters. When they passed, they were like 75 years old, never been married or anything. Both of them lived in the same house, all that. Well, after they passed, the house sat there for years and years, and of course, just started deteriorating. Well, somebody bought it and just started running cattle, but they left the house intact. The house was there, the tack barn, and the root cellar and stuff like that. Well, we got word of it that, of course, and everybody knew about the Humbert sisters. They were, witches, and so everybody thought, "Hey, let's go ghost hunting one night." So myself and four of my friends, we took off and go to the Humbert sisters' house. So we go out there, and you have to park on the gravel road, and then the lane is about a quarter mile back to the house. And you cross two small bridges on the way back. Well, we're walking back there, and of course, you walk, if you've ever been out in the timber walking through the woods like that, you walk across a creek with a valley, it gets cooler, but it doesn't drop 30 degrees as you're crossing a 10-foot creek. And that happened on both of those. So we get up to the house, and there's like 5 steps going up to a porch, and it's a full old school porch, old school house, wraparound porch all the way around. We went up, and of course it's open, so we go ahead and walk in. And we're checking stuff out. There's little knickknacks hanging on the wall, and there's a doll head that is hung with the tail end of a knot that is tied like an ankh, and at the bottom, this doll head is hung to it. In what you would call a great room back then was a metal light fixture that had these crystal globes on it, and I thought, man, that'd be really cool, to have. I'm 16. What do I know? So we're out checking the rest of the house out, and we hear stuff. So we come back downstairs, and there's nothing down there. So we go out back, and we go in the root cellar. When we come in the back door is straight across from the front entrance, and you walk across the front entrance, and there's a window in this door that's a good 6 foot tall, 5 foot tall, and there's these 2 red eyeballs. Well, we just thought it was a reflection or a tail light or something. Well, we go out there, and where that was actually at, it's about 6 foot to where these eyes would have been, because the only thing that was in this area was cows, and cow wasn't that tall. Of course, cows don't have red eyes, so we never did figure what that was. But kid name was Ricky Alexander. He's a little small kid. He jumps on my shoulders, and he gets up there, and I decided to go ahead and get that lamp fixture. So he takes the lamp fixture down for me, and I take it back out, and we all split. Well, as we're going, we keep feeling something following us, and we could see shadows in the tree line of the road going back to the main gravel road. Same way, when you get to these bridges, temperature drops 30 degrees or so. And so we get back, we get in Ricky's Mustang, and we take off back to town. And we're all pretty freaked out. Ricky's about to have a cow. And so we get back down and we all disperse and go home. Well, I've got a 68 Dodge RT at that time, and I throw this light fixture in the trunk of my car. Come home, go to bed, nothing, just like nothing happened. Next morning, about 4 o'clock, Dad come in and woke me up out of bed. And he told me that my grandpa Vanderpool had died, which is my mom's dad. And I thought, okay, never put two and two together or nothing. And so I went ahead and, got up and got dressed and stuff and came out and don't know what to say to nobody or nothing. So it gets daylight. Well, I go out and to the car, and on the trunk of the car is 4 great big scratch marks, like claw marks. And it's actually indented the metal and made ripples in it. And then I went back in the house because that freaked me out too. So I went back in the house and I was talking to Dad, and Dad said that Grandpa Vanderpool had a nosebleed and died from it because it couldn't get stopped. Well, that night, the night came. I had a dream that night, and this red-eyed creature that we saw on the stairs was at the foot of my bed, whether he was there or not, or in my dream, I don't know, one of the two, telling me that if I didn't return the lamp fixture, it had special powers, that loved ones around me would start dying, and it's already started. So that, I woke up the next morning, and the first thing I did was get up and split. And Brandi will know where this is. Out behind our old Dairy Queen is a gravel road that goes out, and there's a bridge. It's called Stink Creek because it does stink. And that's where I got out and took the lamp fixture and threw it out, and I left. Well, I went and told Ricky and all them about it, and they didn't believe me. So we went back out, and I said, right there, and it's gone. So they go down, Ricky and Anita and Mike, they go down and look, and all there is a set of tracks going in with 3 toes and nothing coming out.
And
Oh,
that
wow.
was the house that you said that people had reported it had burned down, but when you went back out?
Right. We heard that it had burnt. Well, we went back out, and of course it hadn't. And then it mysteriously did burn just after that. So we don't know for sure what happened on that aspect of it.
Wow.
Whoa. That kind of, freaks me out. Well, I don't know, Don, if Brandi told you, but my family on my mom's side is from the Appalachians. And there's a lot of, they got the granny witches in the Appalachians. The old spinster women who are.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of that just reminds me so much of some of the stories that were passed down in my family from generation to generation, going way back to, can't think of her name, but she was the last woman on trial for witchcraft in Virginia, in colonial Virginia.
Wow. I was sitting here, and the wife just reminded me, I guess there was a part of that got me bad enough that I blocked it out because it's making me quake just thinking about it. So as we're freaked out and we're going back to Ricky's Mustang, and we get in it, and Ricky, like I said, he is, pardon the expression, he is scared shitless. He gets in the car and he's driving like a maniac down the road, and these red eyes are following us, and they get close enough. There is something jumps on the back of the car, and there's these red eyes, for no better word, gremlins, are hanging on the back of the car.
Oh, God.
And yeah, that when we got off of the Humbird Sisters Road, because it was called Humbird Road, when we got off of it and got to the blacktop, everything was fine. Except we finally had to turn the key off on Ricky because he was going to kill us. He was running like 130 mile an hour.
Oh, wow.
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 Okay, fine. You got something I wasn't expecting tonight.
Yeah, because I don't remember that part of the story, Dad.
What he had was Gumbies, the Gumby things that can take. Uh, they can think for themselves a little bit, but they take orders from things that are bigger, and they're
Yeah.
the ones that will bite and scratch and all of that. So you had some little Gumbies up there. That's what we call them.
I'm
Not good.
curious, though, since that happened when you was 16,
16,
And then-
17.
the other one happened when you was in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Do you think they was related in any way?
I don't believe so. They were two totally different entities as far as feelings. Because one of them was out to kill me, which was the red-eyed gremlins. The
Yeah.
other one was more challenging me because I told him to get the hell off the football field. And in the middle of the night, you're the only one that's there. You're, for no better word, you're God. You tell them to get off, they better get off, or you call the cops.
Well, in
Of
that
course.
case, I'm not sure how much the cops could have done, but
Yeah, it wouldn't have
Yeah.
done much good this particular moment, but normal circumstances.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am sleeping with all of the lights on tonight.
Well, this is something that occurs a lot, but I don't let the demons and the Gumbies get in. But today I was working here. I had that door shut over there in my office, and then the door clicks open, and slowly opens all the way up. And I go, well, come on in. Hi, I'm working. So just things float here, Don. They float across the room. They move. They shake. They
Yeah.
bam on the walls really loud. All kinds of stuff.
Well, we've had I myself have had a lot of supernatural, both that type and very friendly. Number one is my grandmother. I live on my grandfather and grandmother's old property. The old farmhouse is still halfway standing.
Oh,
When
wow.
we lived in it, though, my two biological kids, you could hear. Now, as I said, hear, not see. You could hear the front door open and close. You could hear footsteps come up. You could hear it go in the girl's bedroom and check on them, and you could hear it go through the front room and out the kitchen door. And then you could smell grandmother's lavender talcum powder, and it wasn't. It was a very warm. It was almost like a warm hug from love. It really was. And grandma was she did that at least twice a week and come and check on them. And then as soon as the kids got old enough that they, turned into adults, she was done. But there was a lot of times that you would see, 'cause grandma had a special shape. She looked like one of the things off of the Fifth Element. She was round and short. She waddled when she walked, and and it was her shape. You saw shadows all the time of her, and there's times I think she visits me here in this place because there'll be shadows that I see a lot. And there was a time here about 3 years ago. Um, I'd had a drinking binge, and I think part of it was that, of course, but I really do believe that there were critters right here in the house with me that were trying to get me to quit drinking.
Oh wow. Grandmas are really great. My grandmother came to a spirit circle I had here at my home and gave a message to me. Really clear enough for me to get in my car, breakneck speed to the hospital, and it saved my sister's life.
Wow.
My
You're kidding.
grandmother did it. No,
Awesome.
she came and the lady kept saying there's somebody here for you. And I'm like, no, this is my spirit circle and I'm working with all you people. And then she said, I think she's a nurse and I see a big needle and her name is Dorothy. And I'm like, what? And then she told me there's a problem with the medicine. There's a problem with the medicine. And all this stuff. And I didn't connect anything, but I said, it had to be my grandmother. Everybody went home and it hit me. I jumped in the car. I hit the gas and I went there screaming into the hospital and said to my sister, Dorothy, don't take the medicine. Don't take any medicine. And in the short little story here, it was true. It was true. If she would have taken the medicine and not get the warning that I gave her from my grandmother, she would have died because they were
Wow.
giving her, she had low blood pressure and they were giving her high blood pressure medicine. In the middle of the night, when I said, don't take any pills, please don't take, I'm good, don't take any pills. And they were screwing up from the minute on, and she woke up, they woke her up to take the pills and she could barely do anything. So her blood pressure was so low it would have killed her. Grandmas are good.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary. I mean, I think we've all had like these personal connections with our like when my brother didn't know he was sick and my grandmother had just died. We hadn't even set her funeral yet. She had just died. And the church bells, which my brother had, come to ignore because they, for some reason he heard the church bells. And then he heard my grandma say, go to the doctor, you're sick. And he did. And he found out he was terminally sick, terminally ill. But he credits my grandmother with, he had said that my grandmother came to him and told him to go get himself checked out, go to the doctor.
Wow.
Wow.
For me, it was always dreams. I dream things, but I've seen shadow people too. For years and years, and it's always just been enough to make me question complete sanity. But in dreams, I feel like I've been kind of lucky there because my grandmother, Mama, you remember Mama?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really really religious, and she used to think that or she used to talk about that she saw things, but she thought that she was talking to angels. So whatever it is that she was having a conversation with, she made the assumption that it was angels. And she opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And grandmothers really are, they're awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, but do you have any other good ones about good paranormal experiences, Don, or I mean, I know living on family land actually also connects you to those spirits of your ancestors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because this property has been in the family for 180 years.
Wow.
Let me think a second.
Yeah. I mean, my mom had a weird experience when she was, I want to say, about 6 years old. My mom used to get massive nosebleeds. I mean, she even had to have a blood transfusion way back in the 40s when this was happening. And then there was this old woman that everyone said was a witch. It was a relative. And I don't know exactly how she was related, if she was a great aunt of my mother or who she was. But she called my mom over. My mom had a nosebleed and she put her hand on her head and she said all these things under her breath. My mom didn't know what she was saying. It was like either an incantation or something. My mom is going to be 81 years old. She's never had a nosebleed since.
Okay. Wow.
Just gone.
Sleeping with all the lights on tonight.
Well, that's a good thing, though. Brandi, did you ever feel anything on the property there?
No, but at the same token, I love my dad. You refer to him as my stepdad. He's my step up dad. He stepped up to be dad. So it's not technically my family's property. so I don't have that. I guess you could say blood connection with that land that he has. Um, so no, I can't say that I did have any experiences there.
Now, Brandon, do you remember the grave on the back of the property by the old settler place?
Yes, I was about ready to mention that there is a grave back there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Now there was a husband, wife, and kid back here, and one day, I mean, this is eons ago, so this is all just hearsay from grandpa to dad to me. Um, they lived on a 5-acre plot back there, and she was in the house tending to something, and they had of course, wood stove for cooking, and she did something. She thought she had one chemical, but she had kerosene, and when she threw it on it, it ignited the house on fire, and her and the baby died. And to this day, you can go back to where that is, and you can hear the baby crying in later part of July. When they finally found the bodies, the baby had crawled up in the arms. Mom was snuggled up next to her breast. That's how they died.
God.
Right.
It's it's not a it's not a place that I'm not afraid of anything, but that's in a place that I will not go after dark is back in that area.
You know, that is such good idea because I always say that too, Don. I go, I'm not afraid of anything, and I go everywhere and I do everything and all that. But there's a place here in San Diego that creeps me out so much. And when the paranormal investigators, are communicating, all of the birds and the frogs and everything shuts up. And then when they ask a question, they all make noise. But there was a young girl, thrown off a bridge there by a police officer. And that place is so creepy. And I just go, you know what? I'm getting too old for that. I don't need to go there. And so we have to make sure that we don't go anywhere that our gut tells us don't. It's just not going to, it's not good, or it's going to be a bad experience, or bad stuff's there. So I
Yeah.
always tell people, like, if people go, well, you should go and this and that. And I said, no, there's places you shouldn't go. When your body tells you, I don't want to go there, don't. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just could be really sad, very, very sad or overwhelming or dangerous.
I call it my hair standing on end. Hair on my neck standing on end syndrome. If I'm feeling that, especially as an empath, if I'm feeling that, I turn and go the other way. I mean, Sandra can tell you that we spent many a times lurking in cemeteries and stuff in the city.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, and remember we'd go to see the haunted mausoleums and stuff, and I mean, we had no fear. But I'm telling you, I had the hair on the back of my neck a few times in those cemeteries.
Today. I don't think I have it in me I'm so creeped out by cemeteries. It's
You remember my family used to picnic there.
Oh gosh. Oh, right. Adam's family. Oh.
Yeah. It was a tradition. We just go picnic and hang out with the gravestones. I don't know.
Afraid of anything when you're a teenager. You don't. But yeah, the stuff we did, the seances and cemeteries, and wow.
The cemeteries are okay. I just don't like where the shadow people are. So, Sandra, you talk about the shadow people. I tend to stay away from all of that stuff. And let them have their little corner over there. And I do scavenger hunts. I do everything. I go everywhere. But this corner where you can see them just running across the grass, I just go, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, it's throughout my life out of the corner of my eye, and you think that you see some, and I know, right? I think I saw something on one of the documentaries talking about shadow people. I didn't know that's what they were called, but yeah, it just almost regularly. I've always been freaked out. Yeah, if you could see me right now, I'm doing the sign of the cross.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're good. You know, you can do the sign of the cross or a little white light around you, and Don probably knows how to say some stuff. But you can keep things away from you because it's always your angels and your guides around and things like that. But there's some places we shouldn't go.
Right.
And I do believe the shadow people. I believe they're there and they're all around us.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that if I don't believe in what they're doing, they're going to leave me alone.
Good.
I can see them, they can see me, but they're going to leave me alone because I'm not afraid of them.
Right. They know, I think with me and the energy and the work that I do all the time and warding my house and everything around in this, they tend to leave me alone. But I'll tell you this. I had people go to the cemetery, and I go there I communicate with the people very good, and I clear negative energy, especially the teenagers that pass and stuff. I anoint the graves and I put the blessings in. I clear the fear and everything. But I wasn't there this one time. And they all have the little Ovilus, app that gives the name, names and words and stuff. And I got this text saying, they're asking about you. And I'm like, what's going on? Said all our offices going, where's Debbie? Debbie, where's Debbie? And I go, yeah, next time I'll be there next time. But yeah, it's, it is what it is. If you have the strength and you're not afraid, they're not going to mess with you. Nothing wants to go up against that, and the people that are afraid, the fear is what the Gumbies want, what the Scrabblies want. Hello, fear, let's go for them. So you can't show your fear, and really, you can be pretty safe. But when your body says, no, this is not good, because some things are strong, and especially if it was like what Don saw, on the football field, you're not going to mess with that. You need to stay away.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very scary.
We have 10 minutes left. I don't know if you want to do.
Oh, we gotta. Hi, Michelle. We have to do our fact or fiction recap. So Debbie, go ahead and do your recap, and then we can all guess on what we think, if it's fact or fiction.
So this poor young woman had anxiety and stuff, and she ended up having a nervous breakdown. A lot of stuff happened in her life. Her parents died. All kinds of stuff happened. So she did have a full breakdown, went into the hospital. And she convalesced and she was, doing pretty good. But in her home, there was a great big mirror. And she looked into it, and there was a woman all bloodied, gash on her neck, just blood everywhere, staring back at her in the mirror all the time. She went to the doctor. And the doctor said, leave the mirror there because it's just her fears. It's nothing but her fears. She has to overcome that. She was so scared of relapsing. Well, anyway, her husband called and said, I don't think I can get home. The storms are too bad. And, they know she had an anxiety problem. And she tried to just go, oh, no, I'm fine. I'll be good. I'll just leave all the lights on. It's okay. It really wasn't okay. But she said it was all right. So she went to bed, but she woke up to glass breaking, and she kind of stayed in bed for a while. And then she got up, went through the door into the hallway, and there was a man with a knife, and they struggled, they fought, and he got jerked her around, and they were looking in the mirror, and in the mirror was this woman that she kept seeing, all bloodied with the gash and everything. That scared him so much. He threw her, went over the banister, but he got up and he ran out, and he was apprehended by the police later on. And so she happened to be opening the newspaper, and here was a story about a man who slit a woman's throat, and he was captured, and the woman's picture in the paper was the woman in the mirror. Was that false? Fact or fiction, you guys?
Oh, let's go down the line. Brandi, This week you get to guess first. Well, Dee Dee gave us our first guess for the audience. She says it's fact. Now, Brandi, what do you say?
Oh, I'm going to defer to my dad and see what he thinks.
Yeah, fiction.
Fiction?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dad on that one.
All right, Sandra, are you going to go with fact or fiction?
To join Don and Brandi and say fiction. A lot of the story reminded me of a movie that I've seen. It's I saw the sign come up on the screen that said fact. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't have.
Michelle, do you have a is it fact or fiction? Go ahead, you guys.
I'm,
What do you
you
think?
know, some movies are actually based on things that did happen in fact.
I wonder. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with fiction.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the fence because part of me thinks that it could be fact because of the new, him being scared, looking in the mirror. Maybe he saw something which could have been the ghost of the woman that he killed. So it's like, half of me. I'm gonna be on the fence. I'm gonna stay. I'm on the fence.
Okay.
So we have a bunch of facts, a bunch of fictions, one fence. What is it, Debbie?
Hold on just a minute. It's a fact.
Ah!
It really happened. She was seeing that lady all the time, and they thought she was going to really have another breakdown. And when they turned around, indeed, they both, the man and her, saw the lady, and she didn't really realize until she opened that paper, and there was the lady that she saw in the mirror. And I think that the lady was saving her life.
What? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was he convicted?
Oh yeah, yeah. They had been looking for him.
It reminded me of that one story. I don't know if you got. Well, I'm not going to tell it because it might be. It might come up as one of our ghost things.
Here we go.
So I don't want to tell others. But there is a story about a woman, a nurse, and yeah.
Wow.
Oh, good. We get a teaser. Yeah, I thought that was creepy. I thought it was a good one.
Oh, it definitely was.
I can't wait till we have another one next week.
Yeah.
And what's happening next week?
Well, next week, I was thinking that we should delve in. We've delved into our serial killers. I think that we should delve into maybe some ghosts surrounding witches, since it's the month of Halloween. I was thinking maybe something to do with the Jersey Devil, or maybe something to do with some of the witches, the granny witches from the Appalachian Mountains. Find some kind of ghost stories that kind of surround a witch's coven or the dark arts, something that'll be spooky for Halloween, for our month of Halloween.
That sounds great.
And let's see, fact or fiction, who shall we choose?
I'll take it.
You'll take it?
I'll take it.
All righty. Brandi is going to do our fact and fiction next week. Yay.
Yay.
And Don, we have loved having you on. You are welcome to come back anytime with some more stories. Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, terrifying. You're going to, Sandy and I are both going to sleep. We're going to be sleeping with our lights on tonight.
See, Cara's lying to you. She's going to be calling me up at 2:00 in the morning. I can't sleep because of your dad.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be like, your dad, I'll be texting her. Are you awake? Your dad's story scared me. I keep seeing Beelzebub. You want to chat?
Oh my goodness.
And we're going to recap by telling you guys, our newest book in our Past Lives of Deborah O'Hara series will be published this upcoming week. We're in the final editing stages. We have our beta readers going through it one final time, but it's the Past Lives of Deborah O'Hara, Mystery at the Columbian Exposition. And Don, I don't know if Brandi ever sent you guys a copy of my first book, The Shadows of Satan, Terror in the Mountains, but that's got some creepy things where something is, well, I don't want to give away parts of the book, but there's definitely something scratching somebody.
Cool. No,
Brandi is
she
still
had-
waiting for Cara to send me the author signed copy to send out.
Oh crap! You know what? I completely forgot. I have them in the car, ready to mail, and I forgot. So yes, I will mail them to Brandi, and then she can mail them to you.
See, she was trying to throw me
Okay.
under the bus, Dad. Did you catch
There
that?
you go.
I was.
That's the way friends are.
I know, but we're very excited. And then there's we have another, we're going to be working on book 4, but we have some other side projects, and Sandra is going to be my Audible. She's going to be putting my book in Audible for me so that you can hear her wonderful voice tell the story in The Shadows of Satan.
That's going to be great.
I know. I love her voice. It's perfect.
You call Dawn. Call Dawn.
Hold on. Yeah, Dad.
816-838.
Suzanne, we can commiserate together, so you can call me.
Well, I guess we could all just meet here again.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'll be the Zoom meeting for the Beelzebub group.
There you go.
I'm not going to be a card carrying member.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm telling you, I did
That's
check
all I need.
over, cover up all the mirrors, turn all the
I'm
lights on.
I'm already feeling like something behind me in my son's office where I am. So
Right.
I mean,
Just say hello.
I'll
Just
be
say
like,
hello. I tell
Yeah.
everybody just talk to it. If you get that psychic thing, third chakra, or and it's just getting like, oh, everybody's had that. Haven't you been somewhere you go, well, I don't think I want to go in there, or don't have good vibes. That's one we'll get. Then no, okay, I'm going to get out the salt and the holy water. I'm going to take care of this sucker. So, be prepared.
oh,
And I think
absolutely.
it's just about, we have a couple more minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think we can go ahead and now that we've scared the bejeebies out of everybody, and we're going to be having a Zoom call in a few hours when it's really scary.
That would
Although
be funny.
Don and I are both on the same time, so we'll I could just call them up at 2 a.m, no problem.
I'll probably be awake at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, Brandi, sometimes I'm like ready to fall asleep, and I'm like, we're just chit chatting on the phone, and I'm like, you realize it's 1 o'clock my time, it's 2 o'clock yours. Yep.
Yeah, that's Brandi. Yep.
I'm like,
Yep. See, Dad knows me.
I'm like, are we keeping Dave up? No, he's snoring. You can't hear that.
Well, you guys, it's just about time to go. I think that we are going to have the show next week. We'll have a little surprise. Are we going to surprise people?
Yeah, we're gonna do our witches and our like Jersey Devil kind of things. We're gonna have all kinds of paranormal like that. And oh, by the way, all of our we got the hell notes. All of our guesses tonight from our audience have been correct.
Wow. Way to go.
So
audience.
you all need to send your address to Debbie so that we can send out a hell note to you as a thank you for guessing correctly.
Just send me your address. Psychicfixes at Gmail. I'll send you a hell note. That's dead people money. And Suzanne has some. Let me see. Put her thing up. One of my sisters who had passed haunted me for about a month. I saw her face in a mirror, and it looked angry and satanic. I finally told her to leave me alone and go rest in peace, and it stopped.
Oh, wow.
Wow. My sister always told me when she died she was going to haunt me. I made her take it back. Well, take it back. Don't you take it back. She did pass. She hasn't haunted me, so it worked out, I guess. She's in heaven. But oh my goodness, scary stuff. I don't know. I've never seen anybody in a mirror.
Me either.
Not Mary.
I don't even look at myself in the mirror, much less somebody else.
I scared myself. I dyed my hair red. I love red hair. I used to dye my hair red every fall, because my mother had red hair, and I dyed my hair and I walked past the mirror and almost killed myself. You know, I did. You know, I had no idea. I never did my hair again because that was like scary. I did not know who I was.
I'll save my mirror story for next week.
Oh, good! Yay! You
But-
had a mirror story. Great.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
guys,
it's past our
to go.
time, so it's time
Yep.
to go.
Bye, everybody. You guys stay
Bye.
on. Say goodbye to
Bye.
everyone. Thank you
Bye,
so much.
everyone.